Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Coinbase, ticker symbol COIN. And so I wanted to follow up on this one after earnings, which were reported last week on February 15th. Also wanted to go over some levels that I went over and, really where price went. I do think there are some bearish signs in the stock price. So I do think it could be pulling back even more. So I just wanted to, go over that. And I should note that I am recording this during market hours on Tuesday, February 20th, and the current price is right around $165. And so what we can see based on the last video that I did, which came out, I believe, on the 13th. And so I believe this was the last candle in that. And I had suggested that price could be coming down to $132. But then also did this Fibonacci retracement, suggesting that price could go as high as, this previous high, right around $187. And what we saw after earnings was actually a peak at $193.64, breaking above that level, as well as this, this white downtrend that I have. That's actually, parallel based on this. And yeah, so, we did break above both of those levels, but we could not hold on that day, February 16th, which was the last trading day, so the last candle here that is complete. So that was Friday. We did actually close below both of those levels, as well as this neckline from this head and shoulders pattern that I went over in last week's video. And so we did close on Friday at a price of $180.31. So still up a lot from last week's video, as well as up from current price. And then so far today on Tuesday, we've seen a drop of more than 7%, almost 8%, but still, the day is not over. With that, though, with the red candle down, we did fill this gap here. So that does seem somewhat good, but then there are more gaps to the downside. And like I had mentioned, there are some bearish signs. And so one of those bearish signs, you might notice it. I do have this highlighted in the RSI that is showing that lower highs were formed. And at that same time, higher highs were formed in the stock price. And so that is bearish divergence. And, while one could argue that, price could, bottom and then rally up again, I do think that is possible, but it does look like, of course, with the days trading not over, volume has dropped off a good amount. And, prices coming down. So, maybe that is a case for it. Could be finding a bottom. But we do see that the RSI has dropped. So that does show a peak right there, corresponding with a lower high. And with that, corresponding with this high here at $193.64, I do feel like it's unlikely that price will be reclaiming that level because there are just so many levels between where we're at and that high. One of those being the previous high here, that's going to be some resistance. Another is that downtrend from this parallel channel that I just showed. Another is the neckline. We not only closed on Friday below the neckline, but we opened on Tuesday below that neckline, opening at a price of $180 exactly. And then, coming down, getting closer to 8% on the day. So, while the day is not over, that could reverse. It doesn't look too good, just a number of bearish signs. And so while I was able to highlight a price that the stock could be going to, and it did hit that, it did actually go past it, what are some levels that price might be going to on the downside? And so one way that I can look at that is by doing a retracement from the low here at $114.51, going up to the high here at $193.64. All right, and so with those levels marked, I'm just going to make this orange again like I did last week. And so we could look at some of those levels that might stand out as support. And so since we have broken below the 236, I don't think that's going to be one of those levels to act as support. But if we do get a close today on Tuesday above $174.97, or really, at $175 or higher, that could be acting as support, but I kind of doubt it considering how big this red candle is. So the next level down would be the 382. That is at a price of $163.41. I could definitely see that acting as support. But, if it doesn't, we could be coming down then to the 50% retracement at a price of $154.07. Or, I feel like worst case scenario with this retracement, realistically, is the 618, and that is at a price of $144.74. I do find it doubtful that price will be returning to the 786 at $131.41, but that does kind of correspond with this level that I was talking about before of $132 marked by the yellow line. So those are all some levels to consider to the downside. And if I do throw up the volume profile, levels that do stand out to me of those would be the 50% retracement at $154.07. We do see this volume shelf there, likely corresponding with the consolidation over here before breaking down from that head and shoulders pattern. But if that doesn't hold, we could potentially be dipping below the 618 as there is, some consolidation over here reflected in the volume shelf here. And I guess potentially the 382, that's when we do start to see volume pick up a little bit, really corresponding with the top of this. But, with this big, now 8% on the day down candle, I could see price going lower. And you can see that as we do take a step back, this volume shelf does increase, and it really does kind of top out at the 618. So maybe $144, $145 could be a bottom. Maybe that's a buy the dip opportunity. But if that does not hold and we do still see some more weakness, I definitely do think that, the 786 at $131.44 corresponding to $132, that could be, a bottom. And I should note before I close this, looking at this on the weekly time frame, that yellow line does correspond with the pivot high here, going back to the week closing on May 6th, 2022. And so that right there could be the bottom, but hopefully we do find support before then and start to rally to make another attempt at this neckline and potentially break through it, in the weeks and months to come. But first, I think we do need to settle out on this pullback, which I do think is most likely going to happen between the 50% or 618 level here. But, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thanks a lot for watching.